staple food in Ghana to cook once he's shipped out. Not on the Olivier Jean as specified in his visa, but on the Philomena and then the Sea Lady.
For 3 months, I couldn't receive my salary. I didn't have time to eat. It was very terrible. No one was listening to me. No one was better to me.
His crewmate, Gershon Novivo, says the men hacked off lots of ice used to pack the scallops below deck and melted them string. When the Gustavo ran out, Augustus says they picked octopus bycatch from the bellies with their hands and made soup.
It was a very, 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 very bad. The captain in Honest bastard, people coming from the country, better we keep up, when we move to the country. And when you refuse, they will sack you.
But were you afraid of the captain?
Yes, you have to be afraid of the captain because, one, you cannot go home. Already you have all the borrow money from home to begin. And even if you said you are going home, how do you go? If you decided that you don't like it and you want to go, how do you go?
When a net full of scallops swam and crashed into him, Augustus was knocked out cold. A photo shows a bloody gash in the back of his head. His Ghanaian friends managed to contact the police, and when the Sea Lady came into Portsmouth Harbour in December 2017, police officers were ready to board.
They were rescued by the police, were very, very happy. And the police did well. They did very well. So when the police came in, I was only lying on my bed, thinking how possible I can go home. Because if I don't think I'll finish myself.
So when you called your wife, what did you say to her?
I explained everything to her, what has happened to me, and then she started crying. Yes, she even cried. She cried.
The rescue of Augustus and 8 other crew members from Ghana, India, and Sri Lanka drew a flurry of attention. The men were taken into the national referral mechanism as victims of human trafficking and requested to stay in the UK as potential witnesses. In response to the men's accounts, Thomas Nicholson Jr. said he disputed any allegation of racism or oppression. Police Scotland launched a new investigation, Operation Feature. 2018 arrived. A fisherman from Indonesia, Yoyo Prianto, signed up with TN Trawlers as engineer and deckhand. He worked for 9 months on the dredger Olivier Jean. On the 28th of June 2019, the towing bar swung again and hit Yoyo in the head. But his story ended differently. Yoyo died in intensive care 12 days later. TN Trawlers continued to fish. All these years, Joel and the other fishermen, now around 40 of them, waited. They never spoke about their experience in public because they thought the case was imminent. Each year, the Home Office would write, extending their visas for another year, and then another. Some, like JP, went on fishing. Others found work in Newton Airport. They worked as cleaners and cooks. They served up coffee in Costa, curry in Troon, pizza in London, Sri Lankan food in Oxford. They delivered parcels. Gilbert climbed up pylons, stringing high-voltage cables for Scottish Power. One of them joined the British Army and went to serve in the Falklands. Joel and other Filipinos found work in a care home in Belfast. Wherever you are, you might have crossed paths with one of them. Once a year, most of them got together to catch up and hear any news of the case.
So there are sandwiches, cake, Mediterranean drinks, chocolate, milk, and milk. How are you? Nice to see you. It's been an absolute privilege to get to know you. You've been a joy, you really have. From the very beginning. beginning, the first ones who were here, every day was you were learning something. I didn't know anything about Filipino culture or anything at all. Yeah, all the ones who were here at the beginning, and then the new ones, but it has been also very a real eye opener. They've been badly treated, of course, on the boats beyond anything that we could imagine, but they've also been badly treated by the whole system. Yeah.
In October 2022, 10 years after Operation Alto began, Tom Nicholson Sr. finally appeared at court. He and the company were charged with failing to bring Joel ashore for medical treatment fast enough. Nicholson was also charged with withholding his Filipino workers' passports. The Crown accepted his not guilty plea for the passport charges. Joel was awarded £3,000 for his head injury, and TN Trawlers was fined £13,500. In their reply to us, TN said they deeply regretted the delay, accepted responsibility, and apologised to the individual. No explanation was given in court about why this relatively minor health and safety case had taken a decade to be heard. The Crown wrote to the fishermen, standing them down as witnesses, as there would be no human trafficking or modern slavery trial. In desperation, the fishermen wrote as a group to the then First Minister of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, with copies sent to the police, Crown, Human Trafficking Unit, Philippine Embassy, MSPs and MPs. They asked for a meeting. No one agreed. Since I first met the fishermen almost 3 years ago now, Paula and Karen have retired. So have most of the police officers who work on Operation Alto and Operation Feature. None of them agreed to speak with this program. We put several queries to the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service of Scotland. It responded that it is fully committed to tackling human trafficking, and went on, "We recognise that the time taken in dealing with these complex and challenging matters has been difficult for those affected, and deal with every case individually, taking action where there is sufficient admissible evidence that a crime has been committed." Many of the fishermen chose to wait in the UK all these years rather than go home, because they felt it was the right thing to stand witness as they were asked. This is the first time that they've spoken out.
I believe God will help us.
Because you always seem very strong,
Yes.
always smiling.
Yeah, even if like this, not to smile.
In its response to this program, TN Trawlers said, "Working on the high seas, sometimes in dangerous waters and in a confined environment, are extremely difficult. Although we did not always get everything right, we're satisfied that in the main we did, and provided meaningful employment and support to a significant number of people."
It's painful. You see, sometimes you think about it, thinking about family, not seeing your mom. My mom, I lost my grandmother, who has been my best friend for my infancy. I wasn't able to go and see her. It gives you nightmare every single night. You can't continue to see the family always on video calls and all that.
Gideon's sons back in Ghana are now 13 and 10 years old.
Always, Daddy is coming. Daddy, when are you coming in? Sometimes I don't want to just talk about it. I can't go and see my sick mother, my kids, me. So why did you keep me here all this while? If you don't want to continue giving me or maybe witnessing the police, why did you keep me here?
produced by Michael Whitlock. Sound design was by Tom Britnell. The music by John Nichols. The editor was Billy Scott.
On BBC Radio 4, maybe the goal of a rehearsal is not to dictate exactly the way everything needs to go, but to test the limits of what's possible.
An insider's view of classical music's best loved works.
It's like coloring in a black and white outline of a painting.
Inside music with the people who perform it.
When you're reading Portsmouth, you should play.
How to play, starting with Mozart's Requiem.
There's something quite perfect about this music, but I'm not sure I can really put into words.
Next Monday morning at 9:30 on Radio 4 and BBC Sounds.
For our book of the week, where the head of school at a secondary in Sunderland, Sandbrook, explores the pitfalls in today's education system. Today he looks at the watershed moment in the school experience. First of all, it's in Cumbria.
Examination by Sammy Wright. Read by Carl Crackle. Episode 3. What does the start of more formal schooling look like from the perspective of the very youngest students? Logan, Alice, and George are all 6 years old, which means they're in year 2. Here is some important information about them. Logan and George would rather go in a cave, while Alice would like to climb a mountain. Alice prefers socks to shoes, as does Logan. They go to a tiny school in the next mining town on the Cumberland coast. The head, Liam, tells me that the building is so old the insulation is made of compacted horsehair, and every time it rains they put buckets out. But it is a warm and wonderful place with little knots of kids in mixed year groups dotted around a bright and cheerful building. When you woke up, I asked the kids, and you realised today was a school day, what did you think? Logan, with big eyes that scribble as he speaks, begins, he looks up. Did you think, excellent, I've got school today? I thought. He shakes his head, smiling shyly. No, because I don't like school. I love school, weighs in George. Well, I kind of like school, qualifies Logan. Then he sticks the boot in. But I have to spend boring time doing boring stuff instead of fun stuff. He turns to George. You say you love school, but is there anything you don't like? Probably. I like English a lot, but maybe English? I know accusing George is still to like the bits he doesn't like. I tried to get Logan to say that. The bits what I found boring are science. I've got some science to learn, says Alice. When I talk to Liam, he says Logan hasn't had an easy time. In fact, a lot of the children really struggle with coming in love. He says the kids came to them this year very significantly behind in physical development. It's a reminder that the physical elements of play are hugely significant at this age, with muscle tone, fine motor skills, physical confidence and dexterity all having massive consequences both for later learning and for success. To me, it is clear that while the other two are brimming with enthusiasm for anything and everything, Logan is already disassociated himself from school. Later, he will tell me exactly how much there is going to return for him. I don't know. Being a teacher involves listening to his past lessons. Something in the back as 10 and Year 6, we come to a crucial moment where students make the transition from primary to secondary. By now they're 10 or 11 years old, and the focus has moved firmly onto SATs and the growing awareness of where they sit in the academic hierarchy. In London, Jared, Casey, Miles and Honda are in Year 6, their last year of primary school. Both Jared and Casey say they are average. They tell me there are some people in the class who work at Year 9 and validating the honour. I can well believe it. Miles is going on from this stage primary to a hyper-academic private school. At this stage, every